ako.
This very moment, Putin's envoy did not make it to Belarus. A sharp turn of events, Putin has changed his plans. Now he is transferring weapons to a new ally. Venezuela enters the stage. Trump has warned the United States. In an instant, they flared up with anger. Washington is preparing a strike that will shatter all the dictator's plans. The launch of mega weapons. Putin has gone too far. Russia is on the brink of the abyss. The front has pressed the enemy's army against the wall. The encirclement is closing. What the Kremlin leader's audacity will lead to. More on this in the following report. Putin is a liar and a murderer, and the future of democracy around the world is at risk if the United States does anything less than achieve victory over the Kremlin dictator. This was stated by Republican Senator Tom Tillis.
If you think that Ukraine is just a country across the ocean and has nothing to do with our national security, think again. The world is a small place. The whole world is watching. The strength of our alliances is at stake.
It seems the threat is actually getting closer and closer to the United States, if only because Putin is preparing to fight them. For now, through Venezuela. The first deputy chairman of the State Duma Defense Committee, Alexei Zhuravlyov, told the newspaper Gazeta.ru that Russia is supplying weapons to Venezuela and did not rule out the possibility of transferring the Oreshnik system to Caracas.
The Russian Federation, yes, through Venezuela, is currently attempting to weaken the influence of the US in this region. I should note, Venezuela is one of the biggest players in the oil market. That's why there is such attention from the Russian Federation, but not only for that reason.
The US will conduct tests of an intercontinental ballistic missile following Donald Trump's order to start nuclear tests.
Conducting nuclear tests is, first and foremost, both a political and military signal from the United States. It is worth noting that the United States possesses the largest nuclear arsenal. It is a leading nuclear power. And it should be mentioned that, contrary to President Trump's statements about resuming nuclear tests, he actually gave the order for redeployment of nuclear submarines directly to the shores of the Russian Federation. Let me remind you, the US Navy has 71 nuclear submarines, while the occupying country has 13.
While the world talks about war, Ukraine is fighting for its independence. In these shots, Ukrainian soldiers are driving the enemy out of Pokrovsk.
In the Pokrovsk direction, the decision of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine was to redeploy units from Syrskyi. Special units of the Main Intelligence Directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, the Security Service of Ukraine, and accordingly special units of the Special Operations Forces. This special unit's objective is to unblock the logistics of the Ukrainian Defense Forces and to destroy small assault groups of Russian infiltrators.
And these are shots of the landing and combat operations of the GUR fighters in the same Pokrovsk. It is reported that the operation in the designated area is ongoing. The enemy is trembling at what is currently happening inside Ukraine's defense industry. The Chinese Mavic is becoming a thing of the past. A new generation of our drones is bursting onto the battlefield. Ukrainian drones have achieved the incredible. This is a true technological breakthrough. The jokers in the deck have finally revealed themselves to the world. We can't stay silent any longer. What these combat birds are capable of, the ones that have just now literally emerged from the shadows, you'll find out in a moment.
Reconnaissance, fire adjustment, striking targets by dropping munitions. Is the Chinese drone Mavic perhaps the main weapon of the Ukrainian armed forces in the war against the occupier? And now, Ukrainian industry has begun supplying domestically produced UAVs of the Mavic type to the front lines.
Mr. X personally invested and created the Ukrainian Mavic, and we will see it soon. We've already delivered the first 1,000 of them to the battlefield.
Compared to the Chinese Mavic, the Ukrainian counterpart has a greater flight range and can carry a heavier payload. It is used both for reconnaissance and for strike missions. The importance of the emergence of Ukrainian drones in this niche is hard to overestimate, because there are huge problems with the supply of Mavics to Ukraine.
DJI has banned sales to Ukraine, piously claiming that its products are not intended for military purposes, so drones have to be purchased from third parties. The security issues are obvious. The Pentagon has banned any use of DJI drones which send data back to the manufacturers. DJI has also added security features that make it impossible for the latest models to fly in geo-blocked zones, including Ukraine, without extensive hacking. Ultimately, sovereign drone production is a key strategic capability for the future.
The Chinese drone Mavic has a counterpart called Shmavic, and despite the ironic name, it has already been certified and comes with some serious features.
The Shmavic is positioned as a tactical reconnaissance drone, designed to carry out operational tasks on the front lines, unlike the civilian Mavic, which is mainly used for aerial photography and videography. The Shmavic is built for combat conditions. It has an operational range of up to 15 kilometers, a flight duration of up to 60 minutes, and is equipped with a reliable navigation system that is resistant to interference.
As early as last year, the government announced its interest in replacing Chinese drones. Currently, manufacturers have already completed certification of Ukrainian Mavics, and production has been established.
As of today, it is impossible to completely replace the fleet of Mavics currently operating in Ukraine in the short term. Our weapons engineers are already working on designs that meet the requirements of our security service of Ukraine. Now it is necessary to scale up this production and minimize the number of foreign counterparts as much as possible, switching to domestic models.
There are already numerous Ukrainian analogs of the Mavic, including Ukreporter, Yaitia, and the magical Shmavic. They are larger than Mavic drones, equipped with long-range jammers, and are more expensive. However, they may turn out to be more economical due to their greater reliability.
For us, the key indicator is not the price per drone, but the cost of a single mission. While a typical Mavic performs about 60 missions per drone, our systems on average complete around 300 missions per unit. With a comparable purchase price, the cost of a single mission is 5 times lower. And this means that the military units operating our drones gain a much greater overall economic benefit. Drone manufacturer.
Independent UAV production is the most important element in modern warfare, and Ukraine knows this better than anyone. Because short-range loitering munitions and long-range strike drones have become the most crucial elements of national defense.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
A loud sensation. What the Kremlin feared so much is starting to come to the surface. For the first time, voices have appeared in Russia itself openly admitting that the special operation is falling apart at the seams. Propagandists who just yesterday were singing odes to victory are now hastily changing their rhetoric. The machine of lies is stalling and the system's nerves are giving out. Despite official statements about stability, panic can be felt in the air. It seems the Kremlin is preparing the ground for a major retreat, but still fears to call things by their real names. So are we about to witness the beginning of the empire's collapse? Don't miss everything about this coming up next.
Russian propagandists and Z-patriots are at the stage of acceptance.
Even if we achieve some kind of exchange and get the last part of Donetsk region, overall the situation will indeed still be very ambiguous and uncertain, a very untriumphant retreat.
Now, even on Russia TV, they're talking about failure at the front.
Well, it's already been 3.5 years. He's right. It turns out that after about 4 years, we were already in Berlin. Where are we now? Only 20% of the territory has been liberated. Well, we need to be honest. We see that something is wrong.
Experts are laughing at the bold reports from the Russian Ministry of Aggression about the Russian army's advances along the line of contact.
In a day, it's 2 or 3 settlements. You look up these settlements just out of curiosity. In one, as of 2001, there were 500 people living there. In another, as of 2001, there were 160 people. Guys, that's just
20 to 30 houses.
And they openly declare that the so-called special military operation, we
Have stated that we are not changing the objectives that were set. But in my opinion, if anyone's interested, it seems to me that everything is heading toward Russia probably agreeing to some kind of so-called deal after all. A deal always implies compromise, and compromise means stepping back from the goals and intentions that were previously declared.
To be fair, all of this isn't being discussed yet on federal channels. On those channels, as before, it's all about victory. But since there's really nothing much to say about the front, they show
Kremlin doors with the sign library, the personal library of the head of the Russian state.
Kremlin propagandists work tirelessly to show how the Tsar cares for his people. Supposedly, he remembers every soldier and keeps memorable gifts in his personal library. Special attention is given to the banner of the 155th Separate Marine Brigade. This brigade is notorious and widely recognized for committing war crimes in Bucha, Hostomel, Arne, and
Irpin is a city in Ukraine located near Kiev. It is known for its parks and vibrant community. The 155th Marine Brigade of the Pacific Fleet here represents all the battle banners of our fighters who are now fighting for the motherland along the entire line of contact.
Meanwhile, the singer Yolka has decided to completely distance herself from Ukraine so that nothing in Putin's Russia would remind anyone of her origins. The thing is, Yolka is originally from Uzhhorod, but at the start of the full-scale war, she remained silent. However, her position was clear. She lived in Russia and continued to perform concerts. And no one in Ukraine would have been waiting for her. But now Yolka, also known as Elizaveta Ivantsev, has decided to completely sever ties with her homeland, even in her songs. The singer removed the mention of Borispil from her hit Provence and performed the altered song in Moscow. By the way, speaking of songs, the latest trend of the Kremlin regime is influencing children through music. Right in schools and at the official level. In November, students are subjected to propaganda of the Russian spirit during every break.
As part of the all-Russian project Melodies Instead of Bells, school breaks in November will take place to music dedicated to National Unity Day. Students will hear modern patriotic songs about friendship, mutual help, and love for the homeland. That's all from me for now. This was me, Darina Hutsakalo. Even more hellish news in our next episode. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. See you!